Right, you had algebra sheet and you had statistics and probability sheet. Right, okay, so will I start with the algebra sheet? Do I have any spare ones? I do. If you, which one? Both. No, it's just, I surely do, but I don't know where I put them. Into here. Right. Statistics and probability and algebra 2. There you go. Okay, so will I say algebra 2? Does anyone need me to do any one of them? You had the answers as well, so you might have got them all from the answers, or you might still be confused about some bits. So, algebra 2. Question 2, part 2. Actually, can I do, Summer asked me to do the functions bit, so I don't know, it's the functions bit of the algebra. That's question 1, is it? Yeah, so will I do question 1 first?
Or does question 3 as well as functions?
Is it? Yeah, she didn't specify which one.
I'd say it's question 4 because I have in green like this for question 3 in that direction. For question 1 there.
Right, okay. So look, I'll do question 2, so I'll leave out question 1. Right, okay. Summer, you can come back to me. Right. Right. Okay. Question 2, all of it? Part 2, verified with the value of x at the lengths of the two sides above form a Pythagorean triple. That just means they obey Pythagoras' theorem. So what did x turn out to be? 10. So that means one side is 5x minus 9. So that would be 41. The other side is 4x, which would be 40. And the other side is x minus 1, which would be x minus 1, which would be 9. So you have to verify that 41 squared is equal to 40 squared, sorry, it's really small, 40 squared plus 9 squared. And I presume that's all you have to do. So then you write down the answer from each side. I presume it works out. Well, if x is 10 is right, it will work out. Is that right? So a Pythagorean triple is just, it obeys Pythagoras' theorem. Okay? That's 1681. Yeah, so when you work out both sides, you get 1681. That's all you have to do. Okay, is that right? Are we okay? Moving on. Right, okay. Any part of part B?
The second part.
Part 2?
Yeah.
The world record distance for the javelin in the heptathlon would merit 1-2. So it's a heptathlon. Heptathlon. Right, find the world record distance for the javelin in the heptathlon. Corrected 2 decimal places. So, sorry, the javelin. So we're going with the javelin formula, yeah? So the javelin formula is y equals a times x minus b all to the power of c. Hang on now, I have to read this question. It consists of 7 and 10. Distance achieved in meters, right, by the competitor, and y is the number of points scored. Right, so we get 1295, so we're working backwards. Y is the points scored. So you got 1295, right, and they told me what A is, right, in the javelin is 15.9803. X is the distance, B in the javelin is 3.8, all to the power of C, C is 1.04, okay? Then that's X minus 3.8, all to the power of 1.04 is equal to 1295 divided by 15.9803. Okay, so if this was squared, you'd get the square root, wouldn't you? If it was cubed, you'd get the cubed root, wouldn't you? So you'd get the 1.04th root of 1295 all over 15.9803, and that would be X minus 3.8. So the root is shift and the square, no, it's not shift and the square root, but the square is it? Oh, it's shifting the X to the power of something button. So you're getting 1.04, and then I want a fraction underneath the line. So I get 1295 on top, and I get 15.9803 on the bottom, and that would be 68.43, so it's 68.4343 equals X minus 3.8. So then bring over the 3.8, so X is equal to, so add 3.8 onto that and round it up to 2 decimal places, and I get 72.23. And it's in meters, I think. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah, sorry. When you get to here, you could do logs as well. Get the log of both sides. Yeah. Will I show you how to do it with the logs?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so you get the log of both sides. So we'll go log to the any base. So we'll just do log, which is to the base 10. Okay? So that means the log of 1295 over 15.9 whatever is equal to 1, bring the 1.04 down in front, log of X minus 3.8. So that means the log of X minus 3.8 is equal to, I'm going to put that into a number, and so that's log of 1295 all over 15.9, and then I divide it by 1.04. Is that right? Okay, I'm going to turn that back into a number there now because it's getting too messy. So it's the log of 1295 over 15.9803 equals divided by 1.04. When you do that, you get 1.83527. 1.83527 equals log of X minus 3.8. So remember, then you turn it back into a power. So this is log to the base 10. So that means 10 to the power of 1.83527 equals X minus 3.8. So then you can do 10 to the power of 1.83529 equals that, and then that's 68.436 equals X minus 3.8, and then bring over the 3.8 and you end up with the same answer. Slightly different decimal places, but that doesn't matter. They did allow for that. They did allow for it both ways. So add 3.8 equals 72.237. 237 would be 24. So just slightly different decimal points, but they would allow for that because they would allow you to do it both ways, because both ways are equally correct. Is that right? And remember, you could pick LN there as well. It's your choice as long as you get logged to the same base at both sides, right? Right. Sorry, Elena. Right. Next bit, part 3 there. Do you need part 3? Are we okay? Part C? Part 3? Do you want it? No one's speaking, so I'm taking that as a no. Is that right? Okay. Next one, solve the equation, factor theorem. Were you able to do that? You have to guess the first answer. So you see, does 1 work, does -1 work, does 2 work, does -2 work? Right, I'd say 1 works, does it? Yeah. So, are you okay with that? Yeah, that's a lovely handy question. I hope you get something like that. Right, solve the equation. Were you able to do that one? Square both sides. Handy enough question too. Right, okay. This question, I don't know what it is, question, whatever it is. Right, do you need me to do this one? The one with the K?
Is that the one somewhere was on about
The functions, was it? Probably. Look, I'll do this one, will I? Right. Show that minus k is a root. So that means you fill in, everywhere you see an x, put in a minus k, right? And you should end up with 0 if it's a root, right? So if it's not a root, you won't end up with 0. So everywhere you see an x, stick in a minus k plus k. So that would be minus k to be cubed is minus k cubed, right? Multiply in here by minus k, so sorry, you'll get minus k plus k cubed. And then you have a plus k at the end. So minus k plus k cancel, minus k cubed plus k cubed cancel out 0. Right, so your answer is 0, so that means it is a root. Okay? Find in terms of k the other 2 roots. Is that rain?
Yeah.
Jesus. Right, find in terms of k the other 2 roots of f. Right, okay. So if you know minus k is a root, so x equals minus k is a root, that means x plus k is a factor. Okay, so you need to divide x cubed. Now, there's no x squared term, so I'm going to put 0x squared plus 1 minus k squared times x plus k. Right, you need to divide. How do you do division? Do you do it with the long division sign or do you do it with the box?
No.
Long division, right, you're all long division, so I do long division. Okay. There is no x squared term, right? Okay, normally there's an x cubed term, an x squared term, an x term and a number. Right, in order to keep it right, you have to make sure there's an x cubed, x squared, x and a number. So if there's one missing, you put in a 0 in front of it. Is that right? Because your long division will go crazy otherwise. Okay, so you want to divide that by x plus k. So remember, first term x into x cubed goes x squared times, then you multiply, then x squared by x is x cubed, x squared by k is kx squared. So then you minus it, subtract, so you change the signs. The x cubes cancel out and you've got minus kx squared. So then you bring down the next term, which is 1 minus k squared x. So first term into first term, x into that goes minus kx times. Right, multiply, you get minus kx squared and then you get minus k squared x. Okay, change the signs, that becomes a plus, that becomes a plus, they cancel. Here you'll have x minus xk squared plus k squared x, so you'll just be left with 1 there, I think. No, 1x, sorry, you'll just be left with 1x. Is that okay? And then you plus k, and then you x into x goes once, so plus 1 up there, so that's x plus k. Change the signs and everything cancels. Is that okay? Now the question was to solve. Sorry? Can I do the division the box way? I will. Okay, so you're dividing by x plus k. You put in your first term, which is x cubed. You put in your last term, which is plus k. And the first two diagonals go together to give me 0x squared. And the second two diagonals go together to give me, what is it, 1 minus k squared x. So fill in what you can. X by x squared is there, right? And plus k by plus 1 will give me that. I multiply, that's a kx squared, right? And I can multiply in there, that's an x, right? So in here, something plus kx squared will give me 0, so that has to be minus kx squared, doesn't it? So x by minus kx will give me minus kx squared, and then that would be minus k squared x, and they do go together to give you that. Okay, so same answer. Is that right? And then you have to solve that. So solving that, this equation is the minus b formula. So a is 1, b is minus k, and c is 1. So I'm not writing down the formula because I'm going to run out of space. So it's minus b, so that's minus k, plus or minus the square root of b squared is minus k to b squared, minus 4 times a is 1, c is 1, all over 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. So minus k is plus minus, inside there you have k squared minus 4 all over 2, and that's as far as you can go, right? Okay? There your answer, that's your answer. One answer is k plus the square root of k squared minus 4 over 2. The other answer is k minus the square root of k squared minus 4 over 2. Right? Then it says, find the set of values of k for which f has exactly one real root. Okay? So they told me up here, k is a constant, right? K is a real number, so that means, and k was a root, minus k was a root. So my real root is up there. Okay? So these two roots here, you want those to be what? You want those to be imaginary, don't you? You want them to be not real, right? So you want those to be there, you want not real, because you have the real root up at the top, and you only want one real root, so that's up there. So you want these two to be non-real. So remember, b squared for non-real, you want b squared minus 4ac to be less than 0. Now b squared minus 4ac is what's underneath the bracket when you work it out. So that's basically, you want k squared minus 4 to be less than 0. Okay, so factorize, that's k plus 2 and times k minus 2. So if you were to draw a sketch of that, it would cross at 2 and minus 2, and it's u-shaped because it's a positive k squared. And they want to know, where is that below 0? It's below 0 between minus 2 and 2. Okay. Right, okay. This has 3 roots, agreed? It has 3 roots, right, because it's an x cubed, so that means it's 3 roots. So they want it to have 1 real root and 2 imaginary roots.
Why do you know it has 2 imaginary?
Because they say, find the set of values for which k has exactly 1 real root. So if it is exactly 1, we know it has 3 roots. So if only one of them is real, 2 have to be imaginary. Would you agree? Okay, and we know the one up here is real. We know one of the roots was minus k. How do we know that's real? Is because it's a constant. So that means it's a real number. Okay, so we know that that's the real root is up there. So therefore, the two roots here, you want these to be imaginary, right? Or to be unreal, not real, I don't know, right? So, and the rule is, for not real, b squared minus 4ac, which is the bit under the square root sign, has to be less than 0. Okay? So that's b squared minus 4ac. If you want to fill in the b and the a and the c again, do, but it works out to be k squared minus 4 because I've it done up here. Right? So it's k squared minus 4 is less than 0. That's a quadratic inequality. Remember, you have to sketch those. So you find where it crosses the x-axis first. So it crosses at 2 and minus 2. Then you sketch it, and you want to know is where is it below the x-axis. So it's below the x-axis when k is between minus 2 and 2. So basically that means if you pick any number for k between minus 2 and 2, these roots here will turn out to be imaginary. Right? If you pick any values where k is below minus 2 or above 2, these will turn out to be real. As in, this will be a real number. Is that okay? Yeah. Is it hit home now? Yeah. Right, okay. Everyone okay? That's a tricky enough algebra question. And that was a section 1 question, a section A question, because it's only 25 marks. Okay, right, next one. Solve the simultaneous equations. I presume you're all hoping and praying one of them comes up because they're easy. Yeah, right, great. Part B, was it okay? Part B? Yes, no? It's okay? Yeah, right, okay. So this one here is the positive value of x minus 3. So that means it was originally x minus 3. It was originally the line x minus 3. And they just took all the positive values. So it originally went from, that was the original line, you know, it went straight down here. Right, but they made all these negative values positive. So it ended up like that. Okay, so find the coordinates of A, B, C, and D. Right, so let's find where, so it's y is equal to the positive value of x minus 3. Okay, so here, would you agree y is not? Right, so that means naught is equal to the positive value of x minus 3. So that means x minus 3 is naught. So that means x is equal to 3. Okay, so that point there is naught. That's wrong. Why, I'm after doing something crazy there. What am I doing? Here, x is naught, isn't it? Sorry. It's where it cuts the y-axis, x is naught. Okay, so that means y is equal to 0 minus 3. The positive value of 0 minus 3 is just 3. So that means y is equal to 3. So that's D is the point 0, 3. Is that alright? Sorry, I messed that up. Right? So I meant cut the y-axis, x is 0. So fill in x is 0 there. Right? Okay. Here, for C is the next easiest one. It's where it cuts the x-axis. So where it cuts the x-axis, what's the story? Y is 0, isn't it? So x minus 3. So that goes x, when you solve that, you'll get x is 3 also. Right? So this here is 3 naught. Are we okay with that? Now this one, right, we know this is y is 2, isn't it? Because they told me. So we know this is something 2. Would you agree? Yeah. So you know y is 2. So y is equal to the positive value of x minus 3. So that means 2 is equal to the positive value of x minus 3. So that means x minus 3 can be plus 2, or x minus 3 can be minus 2. Is that okay? So that means x is 5, or x is 1. Isn't it? 1? Yeah. So that means this one is 1, 2, and this one over here is 5, 2. Is that okay? Hence or otherwise, solve the inequality. Solve the hence or otherwise. The hence is, it's basically, this is this bit here. Where is the V below the line? Okay, so the V is below the line between where x is 1 and x is 5. Isn't that right? Okay, but if you wanted to solve it using algebra, you'd square both sides. So square this side, square, square. So it's x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 4. That's x squared minus 6x plus 9. Sorry, that's less than 4, isn't it? Minus plus 5 is less than 0. Okay? So then you'd solve to see where it cuts the x-axis. So it's x and x, 5 and 1, a minus and a minus. So and then that means it crosses at 5 and 1, 1, 5. That's U-shaped. So where is it below the x-axis? It's between 1 and 5. So x is between 1 and 5. And you don't put the equals on because there's no equals in the question. Okay? Are we all alright? Hence is, you can just look at the graph and see that the V is underneath the line between 1 and 5. Okay? So that's what the hence means. Otherwise means use algebra. Okay? Right. The next one, were you okay with the first one? And the simultaneous equations? You're okay with that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Find out where it cuts the x-axis, draw a sketch and see where it is above the x-axis. You were okay with that? Solve the simultaneous equations. You have to get rid of the fraction in the bottom one, so multiply everything by 2. So when you multiply everything by 2, 4x plus y plus 8z equals 42, and away you go. Yeah? You're fine with that? And that was it. Okay? Right, statistics and probability one. I have a used one, I don't have a clean one, do I? Just give me a sec. Right, statistics and probability. Right, did you have a go with this?
Do you know question 6? That's what we did today, is it?
Question 6, yes. The second page is exactly what we did today. And I mentioned it today. So they tell you, look, this is two independent, so they tell you that they're independent. So that means that you know that the probability of F intersection S is equal to the probability of F multiplied by the probability of S. Okay, sorry. Okay, that's what we learned today. Okay, and they tell us it's independent, so you know if they ask you is it independent, you have to check out is that true. But when they tell you it's independent, you know that's true, and you'll be able to use stuff like you have intersection, it's 1/5. You have the probability of F, it's 1/5 and a quarter and 1/5. So you can get the probability of S, and then to find out what X is, you take 1/5 away from it. Is that okay? Right? Question 1 okay? Did you do it?
Yeah.
Feel free to say no. Right? If you didn't do it, tell me you didn't do it. Did you do it?
Yeah.
And it's okay?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But as far as question, well, the other question 1. Sorry, 3 or 4 pages.
Right. Okay. So, are we okay with so that was question 1. Question 2 was the independent thing, and then part B, how was part B? Were you able to do part B? Part B was sticky. Right, okay? Now, I'm just going to open my answer just so, because as I say, the day that's in it now, I'll probably tell you something completely wrong. Right, okay. So, in a club, there are German, Irish and Spanish children only. There are 10 Spanish, so we know there's 10 Spanish, so S is 10, right? There are twice as many Irish as German, so I said German, let German be X, and therefore Irish there's twice as many, 2x. Would you agree? Right? Okay, and then I said the total in the class. The total in the class would be 2x plus x plus 10. So the total in the class is 3x plus 10. Are we okay with that? So that's the total in the class. Okay, they are all in a group waiting to get on a swing. One child will be selected at random to go first and will not rejoin the group. Okay, so you're picking from everyone and then you're picking from one less than everyone. Okay, the second child will be selected at random to go next. The probability that the first child selected is German, so you want German, and the second child is not German. So probability that the first child is German and the probability that the second child is not German is equal to 1/6. Okay, so the probability that the first child is German would be x over the total, which is 3x plus 10. Is that okay? And means you multiply. The probability that they're not German. So how many are not German? The Spanish and the Irish. So 10 plus 2x out of the total, which is 3x plus 10. No, it's not, because I've one less than the total. Because there's one person, there's a German person gone, so I don't have the full group anymore. So what do I have? 3x plus 9. Okay, and when you do that, you get 1/6. Right? Okay, so that's algebra. So multiplying, on top you get 10x plus 2x squared. On the bottom, when you multiply out, you'll get 9x squared plus 3x by 9 is 27x. 10x, 10 by 3x is 30x. Multiplied by the numbers is plus 90. So I multiplied top by top, bottom by bottom, and I know the answer is 1/6. Right, now I'm going to cross multiply, so I'll get 9x squared plus 57x plus 90 equals, cross this way, 60x plus 12x squared. Right, everything to the left, 9x minus 12x squared would be minus 3x squared. I have 57x minus 60x would be minus 3x. And I have plus 90, that's just plus 90 is the only number, equals 0. Now, I'm going to change the signs. I'm also going to divide across by 3. So that would be x squared minus x, plus x. I'm changing the signs, minus 30 equals 0. Factorize x and x, 6 and 5, and I want plus x, so that's plus 6 minus 5. Let each bracket equal 0. I get x is equal to minus 6, and I get x is equal to 5. X represents a number of children, so you can't have negative numbers of children, so x is 5. How many children are in the club? So there's 3x plus 10 in the club, so that's 3 times 5 plus 10, which is 25. So that started off as probability, it ended up pure algebra.
I tried to do it 3 diagram kids, but it was not working. Was it like German and not German? But I just don't know where that went at all.
Yeah. No, maybe I'm wrong in it, but I wouldn't, that wouldn't be my way of doing it, so yeah. Right. That was hard. Was that in section A or section B? That was in section A.
Why section A? Like
Section A is supposed to be straightforward questions from the book. Section B is where they put a twist on the questions. Okay. Yeah, well, that's a very hard section A question, if you ask me. Yeah, but listen, you'll get a choice anyway in section A, so you normally get 6 25 markers, but now there'll be 6 30 markers and you only have to do 5. So before there was 6 25 markers, do them all. You had no choice in the maths paper. but now it's 6:30 markers do 5. So they'll be a teensy bit longer, but not much longer because you've only an extra 2.5 minutes. So what can you get done in 2.5 minutes? Right? Okay. Next one. Was it okay?
Yeah, sure.
That's expected value. Yeah, grand. The second part, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Excellent. That was a section A question also. Probability always tends to be section A because, you know, there isn't really, they can't go too mad on the questions. Right. This is, we're on to statistics. Statistics is always section B because they can ask really long questions on it. Right. Were we able to set up our confidence interval?
That's the start I got now. I didn't do it anymore.
Right. Okay. So, will I do it, or
Could we try it and then?
will I give you a few minutes to try it? Yeah. Okay. Girls at home, you're just gonna have to wait. You see, yeah. See, if I pause it, it actually stops, and then I have to do a second video, and it's.
Why don't you just try to do that?
Yeah, you can try it as well at home. I feel like Ryan Tupperty. And there's a phoning competition. Will I give you the formula you need just to be sure? It's proportion, so it's 1.96 times p times 1 minus p all over n. So it's p hat to set up your confidence interval. That's what you want. Oh, sorry. So it's proportion. Okay, so that's how you know, right now we're now using for the proportion. See, there's proportion. So there's only one way to do hypothesis testing and intervals and any of that for proportion, and that's your formula. And the 1.96, that bit of it is in the log table, the 1.96 is not. Proportion. So 174 out of 800. So it's 174 over 800 is P.
So then what does
P hat, P is the true population proportion, which we don't have, right? So we use the survey results for P. So P hat is the survey results. So technically, P hat is 174 over 800, right? P is the true proportion, which you don't know. So when you don't know the true proportion, you use this P hat, you use the survey results again. So it's basically 174 over 800 everywhere. I never wrote down the answers, but I put up the answers on Teams anyway, so you'll be able to. Sorry?
You're saying your answer 1, then P, and then is it answer
Yeah,
2?
yeah, so it's, yeah, then P. So the true population proportion is between the lower number and the upper number. Did we get your answer? The 4 significant figures, so what have you got?
0.9714.
9714 is probably up here.
Well, that's how I got that as a smaller one.
All right, look, it's only calculator work. There's what the thing is. Right, okay. If you look up Teams, I put up the answers on Teams for the right answer. I'm thinking, maybe it is that, maybe it is that. I don't think it is so. Right, how are we going? Right, this one, the data on the thing is distributed with an average speed, so there's your average speed. So remember, mu is the average, 87.3, and standard deviation is sigma, so sigma is equal to 12 kilometers per hour. What proportion of this stretch of road would you find travelling at over, so you want to know what proportion is over 95. So, right, remember that's z-scores, okay? You can't z-scores, so basically here we have the mean is in here at 87.3, right? This is up here at 95, so you want to know what proportion is in here, right? Okay, so you can't compare speeds on that table. You can only do z-scores, so you have to turn that into a z-score. So it's z-score is 95 minus mu, which is 87.3, all over the n, so, or all over, sorry, sigma, which is 12. Okay, so you turn that into a z-score, right? And do I have it written down? This is great, I wrote it down. When you turn that into a z-score, it's 0.64. Okay, so you want to know where is, so the speed being greater than that is, where is the z-score greater than 0.64? Okay, where is the z-score greater than 0.64? Remember, the tables give you where it's less than, so that would be one where z is less than 0.64, and into the after your log tables, that's 1 minus 0.7389, and that will give you 0.2611. that right? Okay.
Can you move that up?
Yeah, move it up, yeah, sorry. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. Right, okay. It's,
Yeah, that answer was wrong there.
yeah.